J.C. Bose Fellowship in 2013 and many other awards. And he's also fellow of INSA, IESC, INAE, West Bengal Academy of Science and Technology, and several other honors and awards. So we welcome Professor Partha Chakravarti for this award ceremony. We have also Mr. K. Anand Krishnan, who has instituted 3 awards for this Faculty Research Awards. So Mr. K. Anand is presently Executive Vice President and CTO Tata Consultancy Services. He is MTech in Computer Science and an MSc in Physics from IIT Delhi. And he has been a member of TCS Corporate Leadership since 1999 and has led several strategic initiatives. He was named as Distinguished Alumnus of IIT Delhi in 2019. He has been listed Computer World's Premier 100 IT Leaders in 2009 and InfoWorld Top 25 CTOs in 2007. So we welcome Mr. Anand Krishnan for this Faculty Research Award session. So, yeah, he's also BTech from IIT Delhi. So, and we have another Mr. Neeraj, who is the co-founder and Q&A lead of Fellowship in California, USA. He is not able to join this session, but he has also instituted one of the awards, which is Early Career Research Award. So it's my opportunity to introduce about the different awards for the session, because you know there are 4 awards which have been instituted at IIT Delhi in 2018. And IIT Delhi has always been motivating our faculty, right, for the innovative research and their fundamentals and applied research in different areas. So these awards were instituted by Mr. K. Anand Krishnan and Mr. Neeraj Arora to promote the excellence and leadership in research and development in the field of science, management, humanities, and social science. So just briefly, I will just speak about the different awards, the 4 categories of award. That is, the number 1 is Srimati Slochana and Colonel A. Krishnaswamy Lifetime Achievement Award. This is to recognize the contribution of the faculty members over the entire career in terms of impact, quality, and creativity. The second award is Professor P.C.P. Bhatt Basic Research Award for foundational and fundamental research contribution that may be theoretical or experimental, resulting in significant progress and has the potential to work in research areas. Third award is Professor Kale Chopra Applied Research Award, which is bestowed in recognition of innovative use of science and technology to develop or design a new science, product, software, process, or any technical contribution that addresses society and mankind. And finally, the Mrs. Veena Arora Early Career Research Award, which is given to recognize outstanding research contributions made by faculty members below the age of 40 years across all disciplines. So all these awards were instituted during 2018, and this is the 3rd time when this award is being given. So I request Professor Ram Gopal Rao, our director, to speak a few words on the occasion of Foundation Day and this Faculty Research Award ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Pant. I would like to first of all welcome Professor Partha Chakravarti and Mr. Anand Krishnan. And Mr. Anand Krishnan is also our distinguished alumni awardee. In fact, during his time between TCS and IIT Delhi, we have carried out quite a few activities. And as Professor Pant mentioned, some of these awards are instituted by Mr. Krishnan as an alumnus of the institute. Thank you very much, Mr. Krishna. This is the 3rd time we are actually giving away these awards. So today, the Foundation Day is being celebrated. As you all know, IIT Delhi started as a College of Engineering and Technology on 14th June 1960. And the first admissions were made in 1961. And the students were asked to report at the college on 16th of August 1961. So that is when the first session started. And the formal inauguration of the campus was on 17th August 1961. And this campus, the Foundation Day was laid on the January 27th. So that is how we are celebrating the Foundation Day. And I think today, if you look at IIT Delhi, we have grown quite a bit. Today, we have over 11,000, in fact, 600 students 11,600 is the current strength of IIT Delhi, of which about 3,600 are PhD students. So that way, every third student at IIT Delhi is a PhD student right now. And even in terms of gender ratio, we are doing pretty well. Every third student now at IIT Delhi is actually a woman, so which is again something that has happened only recently. And we have over 650 faculty members. And in fact, it's also a matter of pride that though we are over 60 years old, but if you look at the average age of faculty, which is in the range of, I would think, 35 to 40, because one third of these faculty members, about 225 of them, have joined in the last 5 years. So that way, it's a young institute, and there is a lot of dynamism now, and many of these people are also being recognized today as for their early career kind of contributions, and they're all below 40 years of age. So I think the institute future definitely looks bright. We have so many young people who are doing very well, and so things will only look better as we move forward. And as I always said, the faculty are the unsung heroes of the system. They are the ones who have built the institute, or they are the ones who have built IITs. If IITs are known, they are not known for their buildings or anything. Many private institutions have better buildings than IIT, but I think they are known for their faculty. So as long as we are able to attract these top quality people to the institute and retain them in the system, I think IIT future is bright, and I hope it continues to be this way, and it will only get better as we move into the future. And I think this is a day also to celebrate the faculty achievements, and thanks to our alumni, we have instituted these awards, and thanks to Professor Chakravarti. On a normal, during the normal times, he would have been here and giving these awards, but now that it's online, I will do it on his behalf, but I will anyway, we will have him speak on this occasion. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll start the distribution of award. But before we start, I would like to say thanks to our committee. It was 2 members from IIT Delhi, and other 4 members are from outside IIT Delhi. The committee was headed by Mr. M.S. Anand. He was the former director of IIT Madras. Professor Praveen Chadda, he is a fellow INSA. Professor Shekhar Chaudhary, he is the former director IIM Calcutta, and currently he is the director of MDI Gurgaon. And Professor P. Balram, he is the former director and current professor at IISc Bangalore. With the help of those external members, they have gone through the resume of each and every applicant, and out of huge chunk of applicants, we have selected 11 faculty members for this award. So now, one after another, I'll request the awardees to come to the dais, and I'll request our dean, our dean faculty, then DD SNP, Professor Ganguly, and director. Please come to the dais. And now I'll first request Professor Harpal Singh from CBME department to come forward. So this is Srimati Sulochana and Colonel A. Krishnan Swamy Lifetime Achievement Award. The first award goes to Professor Harpal Singh of CBME department. The cash amount will be transferred to your account directly. So it is Professor Harpal Singh from CBME department. After that. Now I would like to request Professor Jayasri Bijbe from CART department. She is also jointly winner of the Srimati Sulochana and Colonel A. Krishnaswamy Lifetime Achievement Award. So this time this lifetime award has been shared between 2 faculty members of the institute. Professor Jayasri Bijwe. Thank you, madam. Now, Professor P.P. PCP Bhatt Basic Research Award. This award is shared between 3 faculty members of our institute. First, I'll request Professor Sunil Khare to come forward. He is from our chemistry department, and currently he is our Dean R&D. Second awardee is Professor Neeraj Khare from Physics Department. Thank you, sir. The third awardee in this category is for Professor Ritu Kulshetra from DBEB Department. Thank you, madam. Now, Professor Kale Chopra Applied Research Award. This time, this is shared between 2 faculty members. First, I'll request Professor B.K. Panigrahi from Electrical Engineering Department to come forward. Thank you, sir. I would like to request Professor Anurag Rathore from Chemical Engineering Department to come forward. For information to all, the first 3 awards, that is Professor Simoti Sulochana and Colonel A. Krishnaswamy Lifetime Achievement Award, PCP Bhatt Basic Research Award, and Professor Kale Chopra Applied Research Award is funded by Professor K. Anand Krishnan from TCS. Thank you, sir, for your help and support. Now, would like to announce that Simoti Veena Arora Early Career Award. Now, this is jointly awarded to 4 of our faculty members, young faculty members, and this award is donated by Mr. Neeraj Arora. So first, I'll request Professor Shashank Watacharji from Physics Department to come forward. I would like to request Professor Vijay K. Tripathi from DMSC Department to come forward. Professor Sanjay Dheer from DMS Department. Professor Kuntal Manna from Chemistry Department. Thank you, sir. Ajay. Now, we would like to request all our awardees to say a few words about their research work. And I'll first request Professor Harpal Singh of CBME Department to share his research experience and his work. Professor Harpal Singh.
Good evening, everyone. I think it's a moment where it's a great moment for all of us who got the award, and I'm thankful. But I think it's a hard work there. My 40 years of hard and dedicated R&D work, which has resulted in 120 papers, more than that, I think, somewhere more than 120 publications in International Journal of Repute, 35 PhDs, 30 MTech projects, 8 Indian and 10 US patents, 20 consultancy projects, 11 technology transfer, 15 sponsored project, and 2 startup companies also, one in Delhi and one in Boston, which I could do in last 40 years. I'm grateful to IIT Delhi for recognizing my contribution and granting Lifetime Achievement Award, which is constituted in memory of Slochna and Krishnan Swami. It would not have been possible to achieve this without the active support and hard work of my PhD and MTech students. I'm also thankful to various past and present faculty members of CBME and IIT Delhi for their fruitful discussion, R&D interactions, and support. This award also recognizes the important contribution of CBME in healthcare, medical diagnostics, and therapy. And last but not the least, I think I worked during Corona time. I was in lab and we developed the technology and transferred to industry also. And 3 technologies which were there, which have gone to industry as a technology transfer. One was breathable PPE kit. Second was sanitizer system, UV-based sanitizer system for metro rail and other sites. And third was rapid antigen kit, which we transferred to 2 companies and which is already there in the market and is commercially being used. So that I feel should be highlighted today because I was there in lab and working with my students also. And then, of course, this was a difficult time for everyone, I think. And I want to dedicate this award to at least those students, staff member, and faculty who are no more with us because of COVID. I think I want to dedicate this award to their memory. And of course, I think this tough time has made me more humble, more determined, and I would like to donate 50% of my award money to IIT Welfare Fund for support to IIT staff who may be in distress. So my 50% award, we see to it that goes to them.
Sure, sir. We'll take care.
And thank you very much for giving me this prestigious award.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Arpal.
Thank you, Professor
In fact, the
Harpal Singh.
rapid antigen kit developed by Professor Arpal Singh is currently being used on the campus. So anybody can get a rapid antigen kit at test at 50 rupees right now on the campus, thanks to Professor Arpal Singh's efforts, approved by ICMR and all.
I would like to request Professor Jayasri Bijive to say a few words about her research work.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. And yeah, I have become a little emotional because this came as a little surprise to me. This is my last chance, first and last chance I tried, and I got a success. So I'm thankful to everybody. So during my research service of 27 years in this IIT, I could do satisfactory R&D work in applied areas, and I published 220 papers in international journals with the help of 26 PhD students and 77 MTech students. My overall H index is 52, I-10 index is 162, and citations are around 10,000. For the last 10 years, my total publications are 112 with average impact factor of 4.4. 1 US patent, 1 French patent, and 2 Indian patents are to my credit, and 1 technology transfer. Other transfer with Spanish company is in progress. I completed 20 sponsored projects of 13.5 crores and 55 national international consultancy projects of around 2.5 crores. I served as an editorial board member of 9 international journals, including the best in our field. Wholeheartedly, I would like to thank to IIT Delhi for recognizing my contributions and granting me the Lifetime Achievement Award. This would be impossible without precious contributions by my PhD students and few very bright MTech students. I would record my sincere thanks to all of them. I'm also equally thankful to my colleagues, heads of ITMEC and CART, and also technical staff for their contribution and support in this journey. My special thanks or to the directors, IIT Delhi. And this is really, I have experienced the best directors, and that is including Professor Raju, Professor Sirohi, Professor Surendra Prasad, Professor Shevgaonkar, and of course, Professor Rao, who supported me unconditionally whenever I approached for help. So thank you all for your compliments, best wishes, and everything. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Now it come to the second category of award. This is on Basic Research Award. The actual full name is Professor P.C.P. Bhatt Basic Research Award. So first I will request Professor Sunil Khare from Chemistry Department to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. It's very touching to receive recognition from your alma mater and from the place where you work, actually. So it's very touching for me to receive this award. And it was not possible without the support and encouragement of my faculty colleagues and institute administration at every stage. My research has been focusing around to understand the principles of life under extreme conditions. When we say extreme condition, normally life is supposed to survive under ambient condition. But there are microorganisms which grow and thrive under the conditions of very high temperature like volcanic eruptions, snow-capped mountains, deep sea. There is life. And this life is sustained by life processes, physiological processes, as we human beings have. And they are unicellular organisms, but they have all the metabolic activity and physiological functions what we have. Normally, we are supposed to work under ambient. Each cell, which is unit of structure and function of the life, is supposed to work under very mild condition. But these organisms work under extreme conditions. That is what is very intriguing. They have key to evolution, actually, how the life evolved from the primordial soup. So people want to understand that. So my research has been focused around this problem to understand some such things. And we collected samples from variety of extreme habitat in the country, isolated many bacteria and extremophiles. These are called extremophiles, extreme living organisms. And we submitted many such organisms to National Culture Collection. We also isolated their DNA and genome, analyzed their genome and expression, and submitting many such sequences to National Gene Bank. We also deciphered some of their protein and enzymes, their structure and function, the uniqueness, so as to how they perform the physiological function and metabolic activity under extreme conditions. So this has been some of the understanding which we could have in our lab. And lots is yet to be understood, but this area is quite challenging. Number one, it is very difficult to cultivate these extremophiles under lab condition. Secondly, you need very sophisticated analytical equipments to see the uniqueness and differences, actually. So this is challenging. We understand some, but we would like to understand more. And people globally are trying to understand this form of life as a clue for nature's clue under extreme, how life evolved. And nothing could be more pleasing to see the committee where Professor P. Balram was there, and he is the top biochemist in the country, and I'm also a biochemist. Since my student time when he was in IC Bangalore, we used to admire. And today when I saw his name in the panelist among the selection committee, I was very, very happy that it came through him. And this is all about my research. And I am again very thankful to my students and all my faculty colleagues and the institution. Professor Rao, who has been very supportive to all of us. And the last part of my work came in his time. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to request Professor Neeraj Khare from Physics Department to say a few words about his research.
Thank you very much. So Professor Rao, Director of IIT Delhi, Professor Ganguly, Deputy Director, and Professor Pant, Dean Faculty, Professor Chakravarti, Chief Guest of today's function, and Professor Anand Krishnan. At the outset, I would like to express my gratefulness to the committee for reviewing my work and recognizing and nominating me for this award. So my work, research work is mainly focused to nanostructures and nanocomposite materials and for exploring its potential application in variety of areas, such as for photocatalysis work and for generating hydrogen, for generating energy from vibration, and also from thermoelectric sources. So when we combine these nanocomposite material by combining nanostructure materials of different properties, for example, semiconductor, ferroelectric, magnetic, or optical or metal, obviously we get a very, very interesting properties. And then it opens a gate for many new areas where we can look for its application. So that's what we have been doing it, and it has been very satisfying that some of the things we tried really give a very nice results. For example, the nanocomposite that we prepared by combining nanostructured semiconductors and nanoferroelectric materials, it has a tunable property. You have a photocatalysis, and when you apply the electric field or the magnetic field, suddenly the whole thing get enhanced. Similarly, our recent work, which we explored for how the water drops, when it comes in contact with the nanocomposite material, it generates electricity. So a lot of basic things we did to understand what is the mechanism, how charge transfer takes place from a water drop to a solid material, and in what way we can enhance this thing. So all things led to a very interesting applications and led us to some very nice patent and some of the very outcome. So at the end, I would like to thank my research students who believed in my work and shared my idea. And many times they work 24/7 mode, without which it was not possible to get these kind of work going together. Thank you very much. At the end, I would like to thank our director, Professor Ram Gopal, who has unconditionally helped me on several occasions, not only personally to my research, but to many other things that we keep on doing, and to Deputy Director, Professor Ganguly, who has been working with me from the very long time and knowing him. So thank you very much to all. Good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to request Professor Ritu Kulshetra from DBEB department to say a few words.
Yes, first of all, thank you to the expert committee and director, deputy director, everybody here, and the administration of IIT for imparting me this award. So my research interest has been in the area of microRNAs. These are non-coding RNAs and their association with cancer. So I'm a cancer biologist with a specific interest to identify what role these microRNAs play, how are these regulated between the patient and the normal, what is the impact of the tumor microenvironment in regulating these entities, and finally whether these microRNAs they can emerge as good diagnostic or prognostic biomarkers for various cancers that I'm working on, and also whether they have any therapeutic potential in treating the cancers. So I've been working on two. One is the cancers of the central nervous system, which is glioblastoma, which is highly aggressive cancer. And the other thing is that I'm also working on the various subtypes of breast cancer. So from the lab, we have been able to identify various oncogenic microRNAs as well as tumor suppressor microRNAs, the expression of which increases with the grade of the tumor. So they can be very good prognostic biomarkers, as well as we also found that if we normalize their levels with the help of the inhibition therapy, that can be a good therapeutic option for treatment of these patients. So the work has been published. I mean, I have not quantitated it, but it has been published in good journals, and I have more than 4,000 citations. And this all has been possible because of the support from my faculty colleagues, my department, IIT, and a big thank you to all my PhD students, my master students. Even sometimes the interesting questions come from BTech students and all. So that has shaped up the research that I've been doing. And lastly, I would like to say that hopefully the basic research that I've done, it gets translated into clinics, and then maybe I can apply for the Applied Research Award. So thank you again, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Now we'd like to come to the third category of award, that is Professor Kale Chopra Applied Research Award. So this has been shared with two faculty members. First, I would like to request Professor B.K. Panigrahi to say a few words about his research work.
Good evening to all of you. So I'm really thankful to our director, Professor Ram Gopal Rao, Deputy Director, both the Deputy Director, in faculty, as well as the IIT administration, and in particularly the Electrical Engineering Department. And since last years, I'm working as the head of the CART. So I've got all the facility which are available. And why I'm telling this, because my total citation till now is 16,200, but out of which, since 2017, the last 5 years, the citation is more than 10,000. Because this is only because of all the facility which are provided after Professor Rao joins. So there is completely flexibility in the academic as well as the research area, and there is no limitation how much you can use it. So I'm really thankful to Professor Rao and all other administration. They have given the support both in the library, laboratory, research students, everywhere. And definitely the research students play an important role. So in particular, I'm very delighted actually the award name is associated with Professor Kale Chopra. And I met Professor Kale Chopra in one of the INA conventions which was organized by Mr. Anand Krishnan. So that is the first time I met Professor Kale Chopra. Then I met him again in another time when I did the young engineer conclave in IIT Delhi itself. So it's a pleasure to be associated with the Professor Kale Chopra because we only heard those names. So this is a great opportunity. And regarding my research, so see, I work with multiple disciplines. I have worked with the civil engineering department, with atmospheric science, biomedical, energy, computer, all where. So mostly my research is interdisciplinary in nature. I started initially my work in AI and ML application in 1995, and these applications are to power area at the initial period. So some tools and techniques in soft computing technique, where I also read some of the paper of Professor P.P. Chakravarti, which we fondly call PPC. Sir, we have also discussed many times regarding all this research. So we have developed certain tools and techniques, particularly the intelligent forecasting, where we have forecasted the electricity demand, electricity price. So all those intelligent algorithm developed, some are utilized in some of the power utilities at present also. So similarly, I'm thankful I have done some work with Professor Shashi Mathur, particularly the groundwater forecasting of Godavari River Basin, and with Professor Mahanti, particularly the monsoon forecasting. So those tools and techniques developed are used in some parts with some development. That is one area where I work. Similarly, my area of research is also developing different tools for the power system analysis and decision making. So that is the most complicated system, the power system, because you don't know from where it starts and when it ends. All over India, it's one grid. So to analyze all those systems, you need certain tools, intelligent tools and techniques. So that is other area. Then what is happening once I joined CART, I focus more towards the development of the electric vehicle. So I'm thankful again, the flexibility given by our director and Pete also. So I have worked with different startups. 3 startups are here. One startup has developed a solar panel cleaning system. So we have developed that solar panel cleaning system. We have developed some intelligent algorithms for the battery diagnostics and developing the battery in our CART lab also. So nowadays many companies are coming to develop the battery pack for them. So all those analysis, design, etc. We do. Besides that, finally, I have also worked in some aspect with Professor Tapan Gandhi, and in biomedical engineering, we have developed a tool which is known as Nataraj. It is basically the earlier epileptic detection using some signal processing and AI techniques. And that is used by Professor Manbir Bhatia. She is also one of the collaborators and staying just opposite to our IIT building. So those are the applied research work. So finally, I dedicate all these, my research to my research scholars, and mostly PhD student, MTech student, BTech students. But most of the work I generally do with the summer interns also. I must not forget them, because 50% of my papers are by my summer interns. So I'm thankful to everybody, and it's a great achievement for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Panigrhi. I would like to request Professor Anurag Ratoji from Chemical Engineering Department to share his research experience with us.
Okay, so I would start by thanking our administration and also committee, so Anand and others in the committee that selected me. It's kind of humbling to get this award. My field of research is biotherapeutics. Some of you, if anybody has cancer, you would know that the medicines for cancer, which are primarily biotherapeutic products, are not affordable for, I would say, 95% of Indians. They're just too expensive. So we have been trying to, obviously from a chemical engineering perspective, how to make them cheaper. And that's what I focused on for the last 10 years. And we have had some success. I stand at an interesting point. I joined IIT in 2009. So it's roughly today I've spent 13 years in industry before I joined IIT, and now 13 years at IIT as an academician. And I still, I feel that, IIT has been very kind to me. In the last 10 years, I have used up maybe some 50 crores of funding from the government and industry. And my, my only desire is that I give back what I have taken. So I've taken a lot, I think disproportionately a large amount of resources. And my focus is that in the next 10 years, I should get these outcomes, to industry. Like Professor Panigrai, I'm also in a very industry-oriented research. So I'm not a basic researcher per se, but I hope in the next times to come, we deliver what we should deliver. I just want to thank our administration, particularly, Professor Rao. So Professor Rao and I have been together for 5 years. I became dean as soon as he joined. And I must say that I think he has been an exceptional director. And I think under him, the whole administration, the spirit has been very supportive. So I've never felt, any kind of hindrance from management, whether it's DTO or DDSNP, anyone. So thanks to all of you, because it's not possible to do anything if the management is not supportive. Also, my colleagues at Department of Chemical Engineering, because I think we have a great department. I have not suffered and I have not actually seen any instance where, anybody has been discouraged, to do anything in any way, which I think that's the, best environment that we can give to our researchers. So thanks to everyone there. Thanks to my students, like Professor Harpal Singh said, my students also, we pretty much worked in the last year, 2021. I think we worked 10 months out of 12 months, despite, the Delta and the OMI. And so thank you for that. Thank you for that passion. Otherwise, when everyone was at home, they were working. And last but not the least, my family, because, they have been very supportive. As you all know, to do good in research, that comes with sacrifice, and they have been very understanding. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Professor Rathore. Now we'd like to go to the last category of award, that is Veena Aurora Early Career Award. And it is sponsored by Mr. Neeraj Arora. Sorry, we could not contact him, but we have sent him the request to participate, but I could not see his name in this list. Now there are 4 recipients under this category. I'll request all of you to, restrict yourself within 2 minutes time, because we are running short of time. So first, I will request Professor Shashank Watacharji from Physics Department to say a few words about his research.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. So first of all, thank you very much to the committee and the administration for thinking that I'm worthy enough to get this award. It's a big responsibility now, and I really need to focus more on my research so that I can keep the momentum up. So I'm basically a condensed matter physicist. I work on the interdisciplinary areas of condensed matter physics, who are mainly interested to understand materials property. So what usually we do is that we try to solve a many electron Hamiltonian, which is sometimes computationally very expensive. And we try to develop smart methodology so that you can solve it and without losing the cost of the accuracy. So I believe that one person comes to collect the award while a great teamwork is going on in the lab, and that's why I'm here on behalf of my students, I would say. So they keep on working 24/7 without taking any weekends, any holiday, anything. And I'm basically collecting this award on behalf of them. So very much I'm thankful for my students particularly. Then, of course, this is a wonderful nearly 7 years in IIT Delhi. So that's also not possible without the great administration. So I'm particularly thankful to Professor Rao. Whenever I have any problem, he always been being so prompt to solve it. Also, Professor Ganguly, whenever we have any problem with space or anything, he always solves, and Professor Khare for IRD stuffs, and previously Professor Mehta for IRD stuffs. So this is really great. And of course, I'm extremely thankful to my department HOD, the present HOD, Professor Ratnamala Chatterjee, of course, and of course, the previous HODs like Anurag Sharma and Bodhraj Mehta. And last but not the least, I must thank my family. That is really important because, as you know, that my wife stays far away from me. Is a faculty in IIT Bombay attending this thing from this online. So she bears me all this way. I mean, that is a lot of sacrifices, and she never complains. I'll show this award to my mom, who is waiting for me back home, but I will miss my father, whom I have lost in 2018. So I dedicate this award to my father. He has taught me all the ABC of physics. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Watacharji. Now I request Professor Bichar P. Tripathi from DMAC department to say a
Thank
few
you.
words.
Good evening, everyone. So first of all, I would also like to thank our director and deputy directors and the dean faculty and the committee members for recommending my name for this award. And I would also like to thank my group members. It is a result of their hard work. And my research group is focusing on basically developing nanostructured materials and membranes with tailored properties by utilizing the synthetic flexibility of the polymers and the nanomaterials. And based on these, our whole research areas, I can divide into 4 sub areas. And the first area is where we are focusing on synthesizing redox active combi molecules and polymers to replace metal ion batteries as a source for energy storage. And in the battery, the second most important component is the ion exchange membrane. And in that area also, we are focusing on developing ion conducting membranes, both cation and anion conducting membranes. The second major focus is on developing self-cleaning and antibacterial membranes with tunable wetting for water purification and the separation applications. And under this theme, apart from the traditional approach, we are also utilizing the nanoscale building blocks like nanogels and 2D covalent organic frameworks to fabricate ultra-thin membranes for molecular level separation. A lot of work we are doing in the area of nanostructured materials for nanocatalysis and electrocatalysis for the environmental remediation and the CO2 utilization and hydrogen generation. And based on the self-assembly nature of the polymers and the amphiphilic molecules, we are designing vesicles and coacervates for biochemical cascade reactions and mimicking artificial cells. So thank you again for awarding me, and the last 5 years have been really wonderful, and we have received quite generous funding from several funding agencies. More than 4 crores of the research funding I have received, and we have published around 55 publications with roughly 3,200 citations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Tripathi. I would like to request Professor Sanjay Dheer. He is the only management person here from Department of Management. So say a few words about your research, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. And thank you for pointing that out, Professor Kalyan. And I am really humbled, privileged, and it's a great experience to get this particular award. I really want to thank Professor Rao, ITD administration, and the jury members to select me for this award. As already said, I'm from the management department. I work in the area of strategy and the strategic management. Primarily, my focus is on the corporate strategy. That is, I work on how alliances and joint ventures are formed in India, specifically from the G7 nations. And now it actually transcribed to the strategic innovation. So the past 8 years, my research has also evolved. So I look now more into the new age technologies and the innovations that are being employed in India, and how do firms in India gain the competitive advantage and the competitiveness that they actually have. Primarily, my research is driven by the case studies that I actually write. I have written a lot of case studies, including the books that actually feed into my research that I do in terms of empirical and the theoretical research. I've quite a few publications that have created an impact. And I've been quite lucky to have these papers, also to have the applied knowledge of this particular research that I'm gaining at IIT Delhi for the Delhi government that I served for the COVID vaccination, the expert that I did for the oxygen infrastructure during the second COVID wave, and also the current Bill and Melinda Gates project that we are working on, because we have become the strategic partner for the Ministry of Health and Family Affairs for the COVID vaccination rollout. So I'm able to implement those innovative techniques on how to actually manage such a huge, large program in terms of how do they innovate and how do they reach to the mass public. Lastly, I'd like to thank the entire IIT Delhi administration, including my department, the IIT Delhi. I think the past 5 years of Professor Rao has been very, very encouraging, and the environment that has been given to all of us new faculty members have been great, and we have evolved over the last 5 years. I'd like to thank my family members and also my PhD scholars and my MBA people who have actually contributed to the success that I received today. It's very humbling. Thank you so much. I'll end there. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sanjay Dheer. Lastly, I'll request Professor Kuntal Manna from Chemistry Department to share his research experience with us.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, IIT Delhi and our family for this early career faculty award, and I'm grateful to them. So in IIT Delhi, in our laboratory, we are primarily making, my field of research is basically the organometallic chemistry and heterogeneous catalysis. So in laboratory, we are making various highly reactive earth-abundant metal species, for example, iron, cobalt, nickel, iron alkyl, or hydrides, which are highly active but unstable in solution, which decomposes very fast in solution. So we stabilize those highly reactive species using a porous solid support and utilizes those material as a single site heterogeneous catalyst for various applications. For example, asymmetric catalysis, biomass conversion, methane activation, converting methane directly to methanol or ethanol or acetic acid. And also we are working on depolymerizations of plastics or polymers to liquid hydrocarbons. And recently we have developed such type of highly active iron alkyl species using a metal organic frameworks as a porous solid support for asymmetric catalysis to create chiral molecules in enantiomerically pure forms, which may find applications to make chiral drug molecules or chiral biological active molecules. And for that, I am really grateful to my students who are working very hard, 7 days a week, keeping the lab open, I guess, from 7:30 a.m. to 3 a.m. next day, although I never check it, whatever I heard. And I want to thank my family. And finally, I want to thank all the staffs and faculty of IIT Delhi for their help and support in last 5 years in IIT Delhi. This is a very nice place to do chemistry, especially for quality of chemistry. All the facilities we can get in IIT Delhi. Administration is very helpful. Labs are well equipped. CRFs are excellent. And especially we have a very good support from IRD, E1, stores. All administrative people and staffs are very nice. Without them, it is not possible to do a good quality of research, what I believe. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Kuntal Manna. Now we would like to request Professor Dr. Sri K. Anand Krishnan. So he is the Executive Vice President and Chief Technology Officer of TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. So he is the donor for 3 awards, that is Srimati Sulochana and Colonel A. Krishnasamy Lifetime Award, Professor PCP Bhatt Basic Research Award, and Professor Kale Chopra Applied Research Award. So I'd like to request Professor K. Anand Krishnan to address the gathering, please.
Thank you, sir, and my privilege to be addressing this wonderful event, and I've been listening to all the award winners and their achievements. My personal congratulations to every one of them. Fantastic work in the true tradition of IIT Delhi. I was thinking on what I should say in the few minutes that I have. So I thought I will divide it up into 2 categories. One as an alumnus, and the second in my current role as Chief Technology Officer of India's largest IT company. First of all, as an alumnus, I think it's a privilege that I, along with all fellow alumni, share that we graduated out of IIT Delhi. In my case, I graduated twice, and it's really one of the experiences that has made me who I am today. So my personal thanks to all my teachers and all my colleagues, my classmates, my seniors, people in the hostels and everywhere else, the entire IIT Delhi family, to make me who I am. When Professor Ramgopal Rao had approached me some years back that there is a proposal to endow these awards, I had no hesitation in extending my personal support for these awards. And I thought I'll just spend a minute on each of them. The Lifetime Achievement Award, as you might have guessed, is named after my parents, both of whom are on the call listening today. They are my everything, in the sense that they, of course, as my parents have given me all the guidance from a very early young age. But even today, in both in their mid-80s, they are in touch wood very good health. My father is a Bangladesh decorated war veteran, and my mother has been an inspiration to the way in which she has conducted her life as a very academically well qualified person, and the respect for learning that she's given to me and to my brother through our careers in our lives. The Professor PCP Bhatt Award is inspired by my computer science professor. When I started my master's in computer science after dropping out of my PhD in physics, I'll come to that story in a minute. Professor Bhatt was the first faculty member as the head of the department who took the very first data structures and algorithms course for the MTech class. In those days, MTech computer science was interdisciplinary, run by mathematics department, computer science department, and electrical engineering department. And Professor Bhatt was a very intimidating person as the HOD of computer science, but from literally the first minute of that lecture, I fell in love with computer science. And he was my inspiration. I've been in very close touch with him even after he retired. I had no hesitation in naming the first award in his honor, and I'm sure he'll be extremely happy to hear of all the achievements of the winners this year. Professor Kale Chopra late Professor Kale Chopra now was my teacher in my MSc Physics, my first degree at IIT Delhi. And he was an absolute inspiration at one level and an absolute terror on the other end. Many of us in the call probably would know him personally, and I had the privilege of being taught by him as an MSc student. And he was also my guide for the very short-lived PhD that I did before I dropped out and went downstairs to computer science to switch from a PhD in physics to an MTech in computer science. He never actually forgave me for it, but just to fast forward perhaps 25 odd years, the year that I was honored with a fellowship of the National Academy of Engineering is when he got his Lifetime Achievement Award. And I was so honored to go meet him. And I said, sir, I don't know if you remember me, but I was your student so many years ago in physics. So he looked very hard at me, and then he said, you're the fellow who ran away. So then he put his arms around me and said, it's great that you have done well. And then he became such a inspiration for me in INA meetings and other interactions, and right through until his unfortunate demise a few months ago. He was an absolute inspiration, and again, no hesitation in naming an award in his memory. So that is as far as my alumni comments are concerned, and I wish all the award winners personal congratulations on behalf of my parents, Professor Bhatt and late Professor Chopra. A few thoughts on the work that you all have done as researchers, faculty members, as guides, as people who have published so well, patented, created impact in real life, the COVID-19 and many other things. And I know some of you personally. I think the spirit of a research institution and an academic institution like IIT Delhi is very safe in your hands. I'd just like to leave you with a few thoughts from my perspective in my current role, where I am responsible for TCS research, and we have more than 1,000 researchers in very many areas. TCS research is extremely interdisciplinary today. And that's the first message, that today's research is far, far more interdisciplinary than it was even 10 years ago, definitely far more interdisciplinary than what it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. Secondly, the role of computing in almost all aspects of research is becoming more and more prevalent. And therefore, it is computing by itself, of course, is a very rich domain, but applied computing in almost all your different areas is going to become a fact of life. And the more you embrace the tools of computing, whether it is just the natural tools like computing platforms, or the usage of data and analytics, or artificial intelligence and machine learning, or any other technique, I think your students will benefit a lot if they imbibe a fair bit of computer science background in any discipline that they choose to work with you on. Lastly, I think there is an enormous amount of potential where today's research has to solve even larger problems. The pandemic was the best, or perhaps the word best is not the most fortunate word to use, the most live example of how today's research can really impact human life at such scale. There are many, many such challenges that are there in front of us in India, whether it is all our basic fundamentals from a country perspective or even the world perspective. Sustainability is not a challenge which is trivial. Every aspect of it, not just climate change, but all the 17 interdisciplinary United Nations Sustainable Development Goals require enormous amount of research and technology and innovation to help us as humanity to come out of it. And then, of course, the progress in every branch of learning. In my own area of computer science, I mean, there's so many exciting things going on. National AI mission, National Quantum Computing mission, so many different opportunities for us to break completely new ground. And the position that India is in, thanks to institutions like IIT Delhi and individually all of you, I think it will be huge for India and the world to lead in this next generation of the science-led future. I wish you all the best and congratulations to all the IIT Delhi team for organizing such a wonderful function. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now, I would like to request our chief guest of this event, Professor Partha Pratim Chakravarti. He is the former director of IIT Kharagpur, and currently he is the faculty in computer science department at IIT Kharagpur. Initially, I tried to keep his time slot for 10 to 15 minutes time, but later on there are many faculty members, they came say, you try to give more time to him. So sir, it is your time now. So please address our researchers.
I lost you in the middle. So you said initially I tried to, and then I forgot, I couldn't hear you.
No, I said initially I tried to keep your time slot for 10-15 minutes time, but later on many faculty members came and says, he's a we would like to listen to him for a long time. So sir, it is your time now.
So first of all, I would like to thank IIT Delhi for inviting me to this very wonderful occasion. And as usually, Kalyan asked me that I have to speak for 5-10 minutes. So I was very happy. I only have to smile. So, and say hello, thank you very much. And then a few minutes ago, he told me about an hour or so ago, he told me that I have to speak for 20 minutes. And then he gave me instructions that I cannot use slides. So I was thinking, what is happening? Then when I saw the award list names, I realized that IIT Delhi always gives me this kind of an experience of tough times, which will take me through something that will improve the quality of whatever I do. And why? First, the names, the people who are running these awards, IIT Delhi, headed by Ram Gopal Rao, who is a close friend, and whom I have been admiring not only as a researcher, but also as the way he took a great institution to greater heights. In the IIT system, one very interesting thing that all of us do as heads of the institution, and we do not, tell anybody anything about it. We are happy when somebody does is shameless copying of good practices. So I have actually learned and tried to copy few of the things that IIT Delhi has been doing. And the awards that an IIT is giving such research awards year after year is testimony to the fact that that institution is growing to greater heights. Secondly, that alumni are funding such awards adds greater credence to the same. And I really thank both Anand and the donors for it. But let me come back to this question of the surprise that Kalyan gave me. And when I saw the name of Professor PCP Bhatt. Professor PCP Bhatt evaluated my PhD thesis and took my viva. And it was an experience. When I was presenting, after all, during those times, there were these foils. So after all my presentation, he softly said, Partha, all this is very good. You have an 8-page derivation, which is a very good derivation that you have done. Please derive it again on the board. So I had to put down all those things and I started deriving. When I almost completed 4 pages, he said, okay, now you have derived it and you know that you have derived it. So henceforth, say for the rest of the time, anybody would talk about me, Professor PCP Bhatt would always support whatever I had. So that was the first experience that I got of IIT Delhi. That means it is an institution that believes in research rigor. And that was something which was learning experience for me. The second thing was my 10-year director, Professor Kale Chopra. Again, Anand has instituted in Professor Chopra's name. So I now realize why the universe conspired to have me speak here today. Professor Chopra, as you have all said, was as soft as he was tough. And I will give you 2 experiences. Once, in my first interview for assistant professor, he saw, and he gave my papers to somebody and asked them to cut out all the rubbish papers and only highlight all the papers that were useful. So he gave it to an expert who did that. After that, I applied for associate professor. And I applied at the right time. I was qualified, and these things won't happen today. My head of the department said, wait, they have not called you. So I waited, interview ho gaya, whole night. He said, they are not calling. So as usual, then another day he came, Professor Chopra was walking down. He said, hi, Partha, how are you? I said, are you good? I said, how can I be good? You did not even call me for interview. What is the reason? He said, if I called you, I would have had to promote you. Come next time. So that I think are 2 very important lessons that I got in life from them, and I learned a lot. So I realized that IIT Delhi, why IIT Delhi is IIT Delhi, and I learned that from these 2 people, and I'm very, very happy and delighted that these awards are given in their names. Looking at the awardees, I was brought back to a few very interesting points that I talk about and I think about when an institution touches excellence. And I consider that there are 5 elements to research. The first is called, which I call no knowledge to new knowledge, discovery of electricity, quantum computing, etc., etc. The second is new knowledge to theory building. How do I explain that new knowledge and how do I develop theory? The third is theory to applications. How do I really apply to the real world? The fourth is innovations at scale. How will everybody get it affordable, useful, applicable? And the fifth is incremental improvements. IIT Delhi has clearly gone much beyond incremental improvements, which is not only from the way I have studied IIT Delhi. As I said, shameless copying was an art that we followed. Scientifically, we followed. I have seen the knowledge to theory, theory to applications, and in some cases, innovations at scale. And they are touching at the doors of no knowledge to new knowledge. It is only when, and I believe that this is a very, very important criteria that IIT Delhi and its research excellence is at the crossroads. They are about to hit that glass ceiling and move into that space. And for that, two more things are important. People talk about the knowledge level of an institution. People talk about its publication, intellectual property, trade, licensing, etc. That is, in my opinion, all that is old. What is important is what is the institutional know-how. Can the institute respond to challenges? And not only from these awards, but from the background, you have seen the challenges of COVID and various other challenges that have come up, and IIT Delhi has come across to it. And there are many other issues which are important. I would still now urge the institution, because the institution has survived many things. The institution has been very lucky to have got a series of excellent directors, including Professor Ramgopal Rao, who has done an outstanding job, and I really commend him and the institute for really taking it to these heights. But you all are at crossroads. I have done a very detailed benchmarking, and I believe that in research, you really can now push for no knowledge to new knowledge. No knowledge to new knowledge appears as an accident, but it is not an accident. And I would request that more of team building, more of working together of the faculty of the institute will enable this. I don't think that resources are a limitation anymore. The limitations, not even people are not such a limitation, though they still are and will be. It is the connection between the people of the institute to work together. The second thing is about building the next generation. As you can see, all the faculty members have talked about their own students and the benefits of their own students. I would give you an example of when the targets are, when will the students of IIT Delhi or any other IIT who have gone abroad and proposed quantum algorithms, have proposed new randomized techniques, and you are sure in the computational area, I know all the top-notch people of IIT Delhi who have done that. It must be there in other domains. How will the best brains of the world come back, including your own, and stay there? So that, I think, is the next challenge. And that is the most important thing that we have to focus on in terms of the research effort that we have. The third thing is, I always benchmark research with cricket. If you have only batsmen in the team, only bowlers in the team, then you are not really going to win. So how do you build a team which has got all the characteristics? The IITs, including IIT Delhi, has grown up over times, and those times are very clearly seen if you see what the Indian captains were. The Indian cricket captains, if you look at C.K. Naidu, He was a cricket captain who really fought against all odds. Then you had Vijay Merchant, who was a perfectionist, only saving of defeat. Then we brought in all foreign faculty, foreign trained faculty, and we were gaga about it. There's nothing wrong. They're all very good. And so it was like Pataudi, we brought. Then we started having our own homegrown people like Wadekar. And then we produced Gavaskar. And through this, finally, we ended up with Kapil Dev. And IIT Delhi has to choose where it is going to, moving towards Sachin, Saurav, Dhoni, or Virat. They're all of different flavors. And I would recommend that IIT Delhi studies the Indian cricket captains very well, the Indian cricket team very well, and translates that technology so that it becomes one of the top research institutions in the world. I have done a detailed study of all the top IITs, and I believe that it is possible in the next 5 to 6 years. I wish you all the very best. I thank you for calling me for this function, and I was surprised. It brings me great remembrances of two of the people, Professor PCP Bhatt and Professor Kale Chopra, who really changed my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this wonderful wordings. And once again, I'm sorry, in the last moment, I had to say all these things, and you have agreed to me only in the last moment. So within a very short span of time, you have kindly agreed. So the Institute is grateful to you, sir. Now we have come to the fag end of this program, and I'd like to request Professor Nithi Jain, he is our Associate Dean Faculty, to conduct this vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Kalyan. A very warm welcome. Good evening to all. Closing time now. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and appreciate and acknowledge the contribution of each one who has been involved in the successful completion of the research award ceremony today. On behalf of the Institute, I would first like to thank our donors for their support, without which this event would not have been possible. Our sincere gratitude to Shri Anand Krishnan ji, Vice President, Executive Vice President and Chief Technology Officer, TCS, and Shri Neeraj Arora ji, Co-founder and QA Test Lead at Hello App US, for their generous contribution towards instituting these awards. Please accept our heartfelt thanks and gratitude. Thank you. Our sincere thanks to our chief guest, Professor Partha Chakravarti, for gracing the occasion and giving us an opportunity to hear your thoughts. It was really interesting and thought-provoking. Thank you, sir. A big thanks and congratulations to all the award winners and speakers for adorning the ceremony and sharing your research highlights with us. A special mention.
Clap for all of you.
Yes. Congratulations. A special mention to our expert team and selection committee members for sparing their valuable time and doing due diligence in selecting the awardees. Not to forget and acknowledge the efforts of the entire team of E1 and Dean Faculty Office for the smooth execution of these awards. And finally, I would like to thank our Director, Sir, Professor Rao, Deputy Director Operations, Professor Deshmukh, Deputy Director Strategy Planning, Professor Ganguly, Registrar Ma'am, Dr. Deepika Bhaskar, and all the faculty colleagues for joining us today. Thank you all for your support and encouragement. We would now like to close the session. And once again, thank you all and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Partha, and thank you, Sir Anand Krishnan. Thanks a lot for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Extend Manish.